Hey guys, Procure Motorcycles here today,
How you doing? Oh shit!
and today I'm going to be talking about a subject that is going to be hard to talk about. Don't watch my older videos. Why am I saying that? After all, most YouTubers want you to go back and watch your older videos, such as Cycle Shitstain, because it brings in more ad traffic, or just overall channel traffic. But however, today I'm going to be honest with you guys on why you shouldn't go back and watch certainly my older videos, and probably a lot of other YouTubers as well, especially those who started out on their channel just starting out learning how to ride a motorcycle and then giving very technical advice on what you should do. Now, me personally, I started riding September 9th, 2016. It was 3 days after I signed the papers on this bike, and I came home. Well, my friend rode the bike home, and then I tried riding and almost failed epically. But anyways, that's besides the point. I gave horrible advice. Now, I didn't really give you guys that advice on this channel, but the point of the matter is that I gave advice on Moto Mino, and I was talking to some of my friends and be like, yeah, you guys should do this, you guys should do that. It was a bad idea. Now, I'm basing this video largely off of a video by Dodge Rider. I will include a link in the description below. It was a fantastic video, and I highly recommend all of you guys watch it. But the problem was, I was at the stage of being a sophomore, aka a wise fool. This happens with a lot of noobs. I remember a while ago I saw this chart where it literally had a confidence level and versus experience. And like, as a rookie, your confidence level was right around this area right here. Once you got better, it went way down. And then once you get really good, it goes way the fuck up here. When you're like, yeah, dude, I know basically everything there is to know about that. And I was a rookie. Now, the post on Moto Mino that I referenced earlier was called How to Ride in the City. Now, this is where I'm a bit of a hypocrite. Guess how long it took me, or guess how long I would ride in the city before I made that video. Take a guess. I'll actually give you a few seconds to leave an answer down in the comments. I'm playing Jeopardy music in my head, by the way. Okay, so now that you've had time to post however long you think it was that I've been riding in the city before making that post, I've ridden one time in St. Louis City. Once. And here I am, giving about a 700 or 500, 700 word write-up on what you should do in the city. Now, you know, most of the advice that I had given, I'm going to pull the article up here real quick, wasn't necessarily that bad of advice. But the fact of the matter stays the same. What I was saying wasn't based off of my personal experience. In fact, it was simply based on what I've been reading online. So yeah, I made this post back in December of 2016, and it's like, I'm reading this over, and I'm thinking to myself, I had no authority to give this kind of write-up. And the ironic thing is I wrote down have more than a month's experience. Quote, have time under your belt before dealing with rush hour traffic. This could save pain to possibly limbs and maybe even your life. And ignore the fact that I used and one too many times, but that's besides the point. The fact of the matter is, I had no authority to be giving that type of advice to any sort of rider. People who are inexperienced don't have the authority, nor should they have the authority to give those types of advice, speeches, write-ups, articles, op-eds, whatever. You get the point. Sadly, the noobs are the ones who dominate 90% of beginner motorcycle spaces. For example, and I'm stealing this directly from Dodge Rider. You know, you look like on the CBR 500 forum, CBR 300, the Grom forum, Kawasaki 250, you name it. You're going to find a lot of noobs on there. The guys who are like, oh yeah, look, I just figured this out. You should do exactly this. While in reality, they could be doing body steering instead of counter steering. Looking to do cycle cruiser. Yeah, I see you. I see you confusing body steering with counter steering. And yep, you're saying that you're going to wash out your rear wheel when in reality you show a picture of a high side crash. Good job. But in reality, I'm not trying to shit on anyone in this video. Well, I mean, I kind of am. I'm shitting on myself. But you get the point. I hope you do, at least. And also, when I was learning how to ride, I greatly utilized newer riders giving advice on how to ride. In a way, there is a place for newer riders to give advice. For example, whenever you learn something new, how did you learn it? Make sure you're doing the technique properly in such a manner that you won't fuck up your bike, because the clutch and transmission are slightly important unless you need to blow out a clutch on, like mile mark 300, 400, whatever. It really is immaterial at that point. But you need to be very careful if you're a newer rider giving advice. Always make sure that you vet what you're saying. Try to compare what you're saying to, dedicated people or experienced riders to make sure that your technique is right. And then you're fine to tell people, hey, this is how I figured it out. So, for example, one of the first videos I ever watched was how to properly downshift. Now, I learned how to drive a manual back in my I think around my junior year of high school, but I never really learned how to downshift that well. And so learning how to blip the throttle was extremely important. And so I knew what I had to do, like in order to downshift. But I needed to figure out how to do it, and that's where the beginner riders come into their own, really. But we need to be really careful. And I've only been riding for about a year and a half now. I've put a few grand on my bike. I'm still not that experienced. I'm kind of in the danger zone in a way, because I think anywhere from like 6 months to a year and a half is really where the danger zone is for riders, because you kind of lost that beginner sense of, I got to watch out for this car, got to watch out for that. You lose some of your mental awareness that is key, but at the same time, you're not yet skilled enough to have that instinct to know, all right, yep, that guy's not coming over, swerve over. And the new, through like 2.5 years experience, is really a touchy area, because in a way, the 6 months to 2.5 years or 1.5 years, whatever it is, that's the key area of where you really shouldn't be giving any advice, because you think you know so much that you do not know, to paraphrase the great communicator Ronald Reagan. But anyways, guys, I hope that you don't watch any of my advice videos, because I had no idea what the fuck I was talking about. And also, some of my gear videos, I'm thinking about privating, or putting something in the description saying, like, I was a new rider, I really didn't understand it. The biggest one I can really think of is the Alpinestars Belize oil boots that I ordered or made a review on. That review is absolutely atrocious. I'm probably going to remake that if I don't sell them, because honestly, I would never wear those boots anyways, because they're far too thick for my ship lever and peg setup, which I know I can fix out with the set of rear sets, but I am too cheap. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this 8-minute video or whatever it ends up being. It's probably like 7.5, 7:45. Anyways, guys, I hope, as always, you guys have a great time on the road. Buy a bike and ride safe.